Well, here we are again. This is another Hornby Black 5 locomotive. And before you think, oh no, not another ringfield motor repair, this has got the silver seal motor. So I worked on a Black 5 last year that had that motor, and at the time I didn't really know what it was completely new to me. So this has got the same motor in it, so it'll be quite interesting to have another go at servicing one of those. This was sent to me by a chap called Ian, and he said that's not running too well. So let's turn on the power, see what it does. Oh, it's away. Yeah, it's stopping on points. So that's not running too bad at all, actually. It's a bit hesitant on the points there, you could see, and running just a little bit lumpy, so I'm pretty sure the motor just needs a service, and we probably have the usual connection issue between the locomotive and the tender. So if we can sort those things out, it should be a good one. Right, we'll get into the shed. Righto, very good condition, this model. It's very nice. Right, okay, let's open up the tender. Ooh, we've got a bit of that situation. How bad is it? That's alright. Okay, so there we have the silver seal motor, and when I came across this last year I was like, what the heck? But now I know all about it. I've learned a lot this last year about servicing and repairing locomotives, and that's been one of the really good things about working on other people's locomotives. I've seen a much wider range of things than I would have done if I was just working on my own. So remove that, and then I think this just comes off. And it's soldered to that plate, which is slightly annoying. If we just undo these 3 screws. I should have gone back and watched my my video of when I last worked on the silver seal. But that would spoil the fun. One thing I do remember is that there's a circlip on the gear. Hate circlips, but it's quite a reasonable size one, so should be easy enough to remove with a screwdriver. Keep my finger on it because the springs might just pop it out. Right, lift this away slowly. Like that. Where's my tweezers? There they are. So the brushes are both attached to the springs. They're a bit oily. And the commutators, yeah, needs a good clean. I'll pop the springs and brushes in there. Get the old contact cleaner on them. I'm going to check to see what the back to back is on these just before I yank them off. 13.9, that one doesn't matter. 13.8, I think when I fit them back on we'll set them to about 14, they'll probably be okay. Alright, that's all my wheels off. They're going to come out now. Yep. Yeah, it's just all a bit oily and dirty. Right, circlip. I absolutely hate these things. What you really want is a little tool for opening them up. Let's see if I can do this with my fingernails. If you can hear noise outside, they're cutting down trees. There we go. They're cutting down trees not far outside my house. So there's chainsaws going. I don't remember encountering this on the last silver seal motor. This spindle here has got like a top, and the gear doesn't come off. Ah well, kind of removed that circlip for nothing. What's the point in having the circlip? I suppose it keeps the gear in place, but... oh, well, okay, we'll just have to leave it there. Maybe I did. I'll need to go back and check my video to see what I did with it. Right, we'll give this a good scoosh. And a wipe out. Quite a lot of crap in the gear there. We'll get a pipe cleaner behind the gear because we can't remove it. And then we'll scoosh out the axle shafts. And there's quite a lot of things caught between the teeth of the gears, so I'll get the manky brush on there to get rid of it. And this one's got something really stubborn in that between those teeth. There we go. Right, okay. I think these gears win the award for having the most things stuck between the teeth, so there's still something in that one. I'm just going to check the traction tyres because, yeah, they're a bit loose. It's the second locomotive in a row I've had that problem with. So we'll get them out. Right, have I got spares that size? Maybe a bit small. These are too big. I think these will be too big. I think these ones will be just right. Perfect. Right, commutator. Give it a wipe first. And there's a little fibre washer on there. Right, T-cut. Give it a scoosh. Looks better. Right, so we'll get this plate. Okay, these brush retainers seem to remember just kind of push on. So we'll take them off. Give those a scoosh out. Okay, we'll start to reassemble this. Get some moly grease on those spindles. And we'll get some gear oil in here. These gears have like a ridge on the inside, which kind of acts like a bearing. So we need to make sure that there's plenty of grease there. Right, I hate circlips with a passion. Okay, we'll pop this back in to there. Right, I'm going to desolder this wire off because it's annoying me. I just realised my camera was switched off. I've just desoldered this from there just to make this a bit easier. So we shall pop this back on. Like that. And we get a look at the brushes. Right, in you go. Spring over the end, and then we can push down these little retainers and then just give them a wee bit of a squeeze. So this should go with a battery. We'll get a bit of lubricant in there, a wee bit of fresh oil on these axles, push them through, and then we'll push on the wheels. Yeah, we need to come out a wee bit yet. Spot on, I think. All seems fine. Get this wire soldered back on. So there we go, one serviced silver seal tender motor. I wouldn't say they're any more difficult or easier to work on than the normal ringfield. Just a little bit different. They're certainly, I think, more robustly constructed. Right, okay, let's have a look at the locomotive because I I think we might have to do a wee bit of work on the axles here and this drawbar. Yeah, somebody's been a bit liberal with the oil. Let's have a look at this drawbar. I think there is a little spring washer on this drawbar actually. It's on the wrong side, I think. And the screw's loose. There's two of them. So we've got two little contact washers. Right. I think that, and the way it's shaped, is better than those. So I think we'll try fitting that and see how it goes. I'm just going to file away there, just scratch it, just to expose some of the bare metal, and it will improve the contact of that little spring washer. And we'll do the same on the drawbar there. Alright, we'll screw this in, and hopefully it'll make the drawbar fit a bit tighter and provide better contact. So we screw that screw up tight. Yeah, that's better. So that contact washer is making much better contact between the chassis and the drawbar. It makes the drawbar a little bit stiffer, but you can see the screw's not moving. The other thing I'll probably do is put a little bit of a bend in the drawbar, because when you fit that contact washer and make this tighter, you get no up or down movement in it either. And when your tender's hooked on, like that, you know, you've got side to side movement, but the tender can only move up the way. So if you've got slight unevenness in the track, what it'll tend to do is lift the tender up a tiny wee bit. So we'll put a tiny little bend on the drawbar, just like that. Doesn't take much, just a wee bit, and that'll hopefully allow enough movement. The other thing you don't want is these contacts on the drawbar to be too tight, because again that can cause a lack of movement and wheels to lift. So you want it to make contact, but not really too tight. You want the tender to be able to move freely. And let that evaporate, and then we'll put some fresh oil in, and hopefully that'll be okay. Because the only way to clean these axles properly is to de-wheel, and as I said before in previous videos, you really don't want to do that in an old locomotive unless you have absolutely no choice. Right, okay, we'll get some of this power lube stuff. I'm not convinced it really makes an awful lot of difference with regards to electrical conduct, but I might as well use it when I've got it. Alright, what state are the wheels in? They look all pretty clean actually. I think we'll just give them a wee polish with some contact cleaner. Okay, I'll pop this back in. I nearly forgot to oil all the linkages. Okay. Right, okay, we're going to put this in the layout and see how it performs. Okay, so I ran this on the layout, and it was still a bit hesitant and stoppy-starty on points. So what I've done is I've taken this traction tyre off. It's quite unusual having traction tyres on the two middle wheels there, but I think what was happening, you know, having the traction tyre on this side where you've got the two conductive wheels either side, if the track's just a little bit uneven on the points, it was causing one or the other wheel to lift. So I think removing this will cause both those wheels to sit properly on the track. That's the theory. Let's go and stick it on the track and find out. Okay, let's bring her out. That's better. So there we are, that's Ian's Black 5 running fine now. Motor just needed a service. I think the connection between the locomotive and the tender wasn't too bad, but I think adding that spring washer has certainly improved it, and removing that traction tyre from that middle wheel has made a lot of difference, I think. So there we are, we're sorted. We'll get this packaged up and sent back to Ian. Catch you later, folks.